Hello and welcome to the HaxtonKnits channel. My name is Deanna. I am a master knitter living in the Rhineland-Pfalz region of Germany, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I hope everyone will bear in mind that my video quality and sound quality is a little less than normal right now. As viewers of my channel know, I am in the middle of a huge international move, so we have left our home in Okinawa, Japan, and we are now here in our home in Germany. But none of our household goods are here yet, so we are missing all the essentials to make a good YouTube video. So no camera, no lights, no microphone, no editing software. So I will do my very best to film today. After I'm done saying hello to you, I'll try to prop up my phone a little bit better and we can talk all about what I have been up to over the last several months. You all have been so patient with me. I have, of course, settled into our new area, which means new yarn shops, new knitting groups, new acquisitions, and of course I've been knitting the whole time I've been traveling. Let's get started. All right, I am set up in my back garden today, a little precariously here. We were finding rocks and sticks and things like that that we can put together so I have a place to sit, and mostly I'm outside because my husband has started on night shift, so he's inside trying to sleep, and I have no furniture and no lights and things like that. So here we are into my home, and I will for sure at the very end of this video show you pictures of my town and all of the places that I am at. But since we are brand new here in Germany, very first on my list of things to do was to check out all the local yarn shops, which is exciting. So I do have a couple of acquisitions, nothing exciting, okay? These are not huge new projects. This is buying a little bit of yarn here, a little bit of yarn there for the purpose of getting to know my area. Oh, the sun is coming out. Yes, this is nice. So the first shop that I visited is called Wolle Handarbeiten, and you guys are going to have to be patient with me with my German words because I've spent the last 7 years working on Japanese and now I'm here at a new land with new pronunciations. But I did do one sneaky little purchase here. I will put in my show notes the name of this yarn, but it's just a sock yarn and it has some yak content in it, and I love yak. It is, of course, my favorite fiber. I love all of the camelids. So I put together, let's see if it's in here, just a sock for my husband. I am very lucky. I have a spouse who loves hand knit socks. He will wear these until he dies or until the sock falls off his feet. Usually it's the sock that falls off the feet first and I repair it. So it's been absolutely nice to be working with. And of course it's quite a bit colder here than what we're used to in our home in Okinawa. As you can see, I'm wrapped up in a blanket out here in the yard today. So very exciting. And of course all of the cold weather has got my knitting mojo going. I have been excited to cast on all of the things. So first acquisition, for these socks, I'm actually not really following a pattern. I knit a lot of socks, so I just did a 1x1 rib cuff with a heel flap. Heel flaps, I generally do about 40 rows, so I'll slip stitch an edge. You know what, I don't need to teach you all how to knit a sock. You guys know how, but I love this yarn, and I think even though I'm making men's socks, I might be able to make myself some little booties or something out of the leftovers, because a little pair of slippers won't take any space at all. But I do want to talk about the yarn shop. So the yarn shop, Wolle Handarbeiten, it's in Kaiserslautern in Rhineland-Pfalz, right in Germany here, and it is just a crammed full shop. It's a pretty good sized shop and floor to ceiling packed in yarn, which is lovely. I mean, that's what you want when you go yarn shopping, right? Lots of options, lots of things, and it's in a beautiful area. So if you are in the Kaiserslautern area of Germany, of the state of Rhineland-Pfalz, definitely go check it out. Right next to the shop is a huge pedestrian area where it's all food and drinks, and I have absolutely been loving exploring that area. Now, unfortunately, that area is actually not super close to where I live, so I have been searching for other yarn shops. So while I was exploring, I also went and checked out a shop. Oh, what is it called? Creative Welt? I will also put that down below. But in HaxtonKnits Germany, which is where I'm working, I went to check out a yarn shop there, and that was during the town festival, so the Stadtfest. And I absolutely enjoyed walking around. My husband ate some really good food. I won't be putting in pictures of him eating though, because he doesn't like it when I put pictures of him on the YouTube channel. But I'm playing with the yarn I bought there at that shop. So that Sharp Creative Belt, it's not a yarn shop, it's just like a creative craft store and decorative items for the home and small bits of food and drink, but the yarn they had was very nice. So this is cashmere luxury socks. Oh, I don't know, Superba cashmere luxury socks. This might not be my normal color, but I think I can get over with that for a pair of nice warm cashmere socks, because I find that I've been a little bit chilly since I've been here. So these will surely be a pair of something warm for my feet in the next coming days. Oh, it's spectacular here. So I've said this many times, viewers of my channel know this, I am not a warm weather person. I like the cold, so I've been absolutely enjoying getting snuggled up, getting my sweaters on, getting my wool blankets out, and I look forward to having a fire in the fireplace, because I haven't had a fireplace in years. So I think that's all of my acquisitions. Now, I did originally film another video, which the quality was very bad on. I was actually filming it because I have been working on a test knit, and the test knit pattern was supposed to release and then it got delayed. So I'll probably reshoot that video, but in that video I did a tour of all of the yarn that a master knitter travels with when they know they're going to be 3 or 4 months without their yarn stash. So I do have quite a bit of yarn with me. It came in my suitcase. I had fun trying to decide how much yarn to come with me, and so later I'll probably reshoot that video and I'll show you all of the yarn that I have available to work with me until my household goods arrive. But that is not the only thing I've been working on right now. So I'm going to take a little pause right here, and then we'll move on to works in progress. All right, you guys are getting a little bit of a tour of the garden while I'm moving around here, showing off all my work. But since I have seen you last, I have been knitting. Like I mentioned before, I did do a test knit, which actually took quite a bit of time. Probably wasn't the best time to sign myself up for a test knit, but I take my test knits very seriously, and I actually found that in the stress of moving and relocating, I needed something to keep me busy and keep my brain off the other things I was supposed to be doing. So stress management by procrastination, by distraction, I'm not sure, but I will talk a lot more about that when that pattern finally releases. But for now, let me show you what else I've been working on. And this I'm kind of proud of. Check it out. This is the Gartrell Crew. It is by Tanis of the Tanis Fiber Arts. If you guys don't know, the yarn dyeing company in Canada. It's a husband and wife team. And that is where the pattern is from. And then of course the yarn is Hudson & Co. The base is Weld, which is beautiful. It is it's a Merino Corriedale mix. I'm pretty sure a 70-30 Merino Corriedale. And some of you who follow me on Instagram probably saw pictures of this, because of course I'm traveling, which means I don't have my ball winder, I don't have my Swift. So of course I pick a sweater with 1,000 colors in it that I have to wind by hand and roll into balls by hand. And so it's, you know, just something else to keep me busy while I'm traveling. I absolutely love the way this is turning out. I hope you can see. I am almost done with it. So I have the seams sewn up for this side, and for the shoulders, I have not yet done the seams on this side. Here you go. You can see the inside of my work. Very nice. And of course I still have to do the collar, and I also have not done the bottom cuff. I just was a little bit nervous about whether I was going to have enough yarn, so I just put that off, and I figure whatever color I have enough of left over, I will do with the cuff. Especially because I didn't really purchase this yarn with the idea of knitting this particular sweater. I actually purchased this yarn because I knit a hat by, it was a kit sold by the Hudson and West Co. And I loved the hat so much, and I loved the color so much, that I bought one skein of each color in the hat with the intention of making a sweater. So this is turning out beautiful. I really love, it's just a raglan sleeve and a crew neck. I mean, come on, who doesn't love just some classic fit here? Really looking forward to this. I have had to do some sneaky little sweater surgery here. So I took this with me to a knitting group since I've been here, and I actually spent pretty much the whole time trying to sew up the sweater. And suddenly, when I was on this seam here, can you see the seam? Look, oh, I seamed it so good. Yeah, you can just barely tell the seam is right there. But all of a sudden everything was lining up, and then it stopped lining up, and I realized that on one of my pieces I had done 2 extra rows of this color blue. And so what I ended up doing was, thankfully I didn't sew in any of my ends. I actually blocked it. I tied anywhere I connected yarn, I tied it in a little bow and blocked it, and then sewed the seam. And so I was able to just unpick that join right there between the blue and the white, pull out. I pulled out, so that was 1 row I picked out, and then I pulled out 2 more rows because I had to rejoin it, and I rejoined it with a Kitchener stitch. And so tension, it's not quite perfect. You can see it, all right? See that tension there? Now of course this is a blocked piece of fabric, and I have not washed or blocked it since I did this seam, so I can fuss with the seam a little more, but I actually think once I wash this it'll even out enough that I won't really care. Of course it was on the front, so this is the very front of the piece. I think it's gonna fall just kind of under my bust line though. Well, a little bit further under my bust line, so it won't be as obvious. So hopefully that's going to be all done by the next time I talk to all of you, and it has been so much fun to work on. And since I'm here talking about it, let's talk about my knitting group, because I am having so much fun finding new groups in my area. I did go to a knitting group. It was the first ever meeting of that knitting group, set up on Facebook, and then we met at one of the local libraries, and it was so nice to meet everyone in that group. We had a even mix of knitters and crocheters, and kind of a split mix of experience, and it's been really nice to go. There is another knitting group that meets once a month that I am hopeful that my schedule will occasionally line up for me to go and visit. And my neighborhood, they don't know it yet, but there will be a knitting group right here in this neighborhood, because as you guys have probably seen, I have kind of a big backyard and a garden, and so I am really hoping that once my furniture gets here and I get settled in, I might be able to host some of my neighbors for knitting. And I do happen to know, also from a Facebook group, that there's a couple of knitters in my neighborhood. Isn't technology great? It's so wonderful. I hope you guys can hear the church bells in the background. I mean, how better of a way to say that you're in a small village in Germany than the presence of the bells in the background. It's been so nice. Oh my gosh, so the other day I was like sitting in the yard, and all of a sudden I hear a sheep just screaming its brains off, running right out my back fence. So there's a farmer's field behind me. I don't think it's a pasture land. I don't think the sheep was supposed to be there, but it was, and it was screaming its little head off as it ran by. And I'm really excited to try and figure out where those sheep are coming from, and maybe hopefully getting to know the people in the area. It is, of course, kind of intimidating. I've got a new language to learn. We are really close to France here, so I've noticed there's been a blend of French and German, and thankfully my high school days saw me with a couple of years of French classes, so I have been getting by with a blend of French and German and English. Totally, honestly, easier than it's been in Japan. In Japan, it was either they spoke English or they didn't, And here, most of the time, people are speaking English, and if they don't, I have enough French or German to get the job done. So I'm very much excited. I think my town is having their Stadtfest, right? City festival next weekend. So I'm hoping to have lots of pictures of that for you guys.